Everybody, it is Tuesday afternoon. Welcome to the Chad Prather Show. I'm trying to figure out Rumble. I want to be able to put the potato for Megan down there in the bottom of the deal, but I keep with one finger spelling poot. Doesn't quite work for me the way it's supposed to. I don't know how any of this stuff works. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. I'm so excited about all the deportations and all the winning. Venezuela's folded, Colombia's folded, Canada's folded, Mexico's folded. Bam, there it goes. A little celebration for you. It's a fiesta! Just something else for Party Foul Steve to have to clean up. Oh, boy, howdy. Now I got confetti all over me, and I scared the dog. What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us this morning on Dear American. Of course, hanging out in the chat today. Slap those American flags up there. Click like and subscribe on the Chad Prather Rumble. And for those of you who happen to be watching over there underneath the tutelage and the oversight of the Google overlords on YouTube, welcome to you as well. We are in all the places. Make sure you share this episode. We're going to talk about deportations. We're going to talk about USAID. We're going to talk about wasteful spending, crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'm here for it, man. I am here for it. All the winning is fantastic. Before we go any further, I want to welcome just a whole house full of people. But I want to bring on one person first, because I need to embarrass him again. This morning I said to him that he is dreamy and good-looking, and everybody wants to stare at his face. I don't think those are the exact words I said, but it was everybody's producer, Royce. Royce, come on here. Give yourself some applause.
Why do you keep doing that to me, man? Why do you keep doing that to me?
Why do you blush every time you get compliments?
Because you're telling me I'm cute, bro. You said it. That's what you said, by the way. You didn't say dreamy. You told me I was cute. And then I popped on the show, and I'm like, thanks, Chad.
You know,
it's
no Obama. It's no Obama.
It's no Obama. It's all
no
right.
Obama. We're not Obama.
But it makes you blush. Someone calls you cute, you blush. I think that's okay. But let me tell you, I got an issue lately, and I need your help, because I think you struggle with the same thing. Last night, I was doing a little Trump voice action, okay, a little playing around, and I've not been able to escape from it. It's an addicting like
once
impersonation.
You do it, at that point, once you've done the Trump impersonation, you can't not do it whenever you quote Trump. Everybody sees my little Fight Trump bobblehead back there. I don't know that anyone has paid attention to the Chad bobblehead. Look at that little guy right there. Little Chad head.
You can buy Chad.
You can't, but I can't even get it in the screen. I'm going to put Chad right back there so you can see me. Let's hear it. Let's hear a little impersonation. Give me a little Trump.
Little Trump impersonation. We got the Trump. We're on the Chad Prather Show. We like Chad Prather. He's the best. Some say he's the best. I know he's the best. A lot of people say that.
I like how you got to do the fingers and everything. You
got to do the fingers. You got to drop the shoulder a little bit.
You can't do
Breathe
it
in through the
fingers.
teeth. I think I'm too dramatic with it, though. That's my problem. I was trying to be a little bit more.
It's sort of like Trump. It's sort of like Trump before puberty. It's like you still got a little high pitch to it, you know.
Well, for your information, Chad, I have gone through puberty, so I've done that.
I can tell you, you're still awfully close to it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've got a high voice. It's
quite honestly, I gotta tell you, it's a fantastic.
People like my voice. They say it's okay. They say it's the best voice. That's what they say.
I don't do a good one. I don't do a good one, but I do a fun one. And I've always said, you gotta. It's how you end the word. It's how you end the word. Like, look at your phone. Wait for it to pop up. There's little nuances to all of it. Wait for it to pop up.
All right. Wait for it to pop up.
It's going to pop up. You guys can come to the party. We're going to be at my home, Marco Polo. It looks like Tulsi's she's dealing with her stuff. RFK's been passed through. We're going to head to the Senate. We'll see what's going on. Trump is going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu at the White House. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to get into. Before we do, Royce, let me remind everybody about our friends over at Birch Gold. What we need you to do to help us, is text CHAD, C-H-A-D, to 989898 and let them know that you are interested in a free, no obligation information kit about how you can secure your future, particularly your retirement, your 401k, your IRA, sitting there in an old account doing nothing with a former employer, or maybe you have $10,000, $15,000 sitting around and you would like to make sure that it remains secure for your future and even grows, Birch Gold is the leader, and they will help you do exactly that. They know what they're doing. So give them a shout, and there's no obligation. Just read up on it, see if it's a good fit for you. But do us a favor, cost you nothing to do it, but it tells Birch Gold that, hey, investing in the Chad Prather Show, being able to let this show continue on the way that it does, it with them as a sponsor, it matters. So text Chad to 989898. That's the little phone number is 989898. And then down in the body of the message body. In the message body, you do CHAD, Chad. Just do it. I hear the giggle in the back. Party Foul Steve is slumping in his chair right there. Bring him on, everybody. Party Foul Steve, everybody's favorite.
I'm sitting up, Chad.
Well, sit up and scoot over.
You know, Chad Prather, the master of minds, the master of words. 2 mornings in a row on Dear America, he starts the show off and he almost says, "Welcome to the Chad Prather Show."
I did not do that.
That's funny because at the start of this show, he said, "Welcome to Dear America." I caught that.
No, I said I'm glad. Did I say Dear America? I thought I said.
You did say
I was
Dear
glad
America.
everybody joined us for Dear America this morning, and now the Chad Prather Show. Party Foul Steve his whole life is crooked. Move over just a little bit. Center yourself. This is good. There you go.
I always have to go the opposite way. I think.
And the other thing yesterday, you're not close enough to the microphone. Get that thing in your face. Treat it like Joe Biden would treat a chocolate chip ice cream
How's that?
cone.
Is that better?
A
You didn't move it any closer to your face. Drag it to your face. Like, come on, dude. Act
Right
like
up
you haven't
there.
been in a truck stop bathroom at 2 a.m., okay? Pretend. Just pretend.
That reminds me. This weekend we were traveling on the road, and I go into the quick stop restroom, and there's a guy in there sock-footed. I was like, ugh. Why would somebody go in there sock-footed? Have no idea.
It was me.
Sock-footed?
He's
Does that
trying to
just mean
tell
you're
you
wearing
that
socks?
I was in the stall with no pants on, and my boots were off, and there was sock feet because I was changing my pants. I was changing jeans. Sometimes when you do as many miles on the road as I do, you had something the night before that was cooked by, these people that say we can't have this food anymore, like a chalupa. And sometimes you cough extra hard. And
They're poisoning the tacos.
I wasn't going to go that far, Chad.
Dude, I don't care. Everybody's pooped their pants. The president of the United States, Joe Biden, used to poop them
Not
regularly.
me. I've never pooped my pants. Joe poops his pants.
Yeah, pooped his pants. And so I was like, I think I did. I don't know, but pull into the Quick Trip and let me change my britches. Anyway. Oh, kind of stuff.
Was there a
tea.
verdict? Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't ask that.
I went ahead and washed my jeans anyway. I brought them home, threw them right in the washer. I just not taking any chance. You get to that point where you get a loose muscle, man. The older you get, you just you don't trust certain things. And I had a little cough. But anyway, without further ado, let's bring on my bestie from the I'm just gonna rhyme with something that I can't say, but she hasn't been deported yet. She is work wife. I am her work green card. Sarah Gonzalez, Blaze TV's Sarah Gonzalez. Hello, darling.
Hi. Wow, quite the story I'm listening to.
You've been
Chad
with me
Prather
when I
pooping
poop
his
my
pants.
pants. Yeah, you've been with me when I poop my pants. You just didn't know it.
It explains the smells so much.
Sarah, you doubled up. You have an actual husband that provided that green card for you, and then there's me. We have that.
Can we just be clear? That's a joke.
It is a joke.
There's
there
no
were
green
people.
card.
So you
No
had
embarrassment.
your birthday was Sunday, and you turned what was it, 51? 50, 49,
So
49.
Chad no longer has a work wife or a best friend.
I thought you were like 38 or 39.
I am clearly 29 forever. Thank you.
Forever, 29 plus. But your birthday was on Sunday. You spent it in the streets with the deportation protesters. We're going to get into that. Yeah. First of all, did you have a good birthday? Was it all good?
Yeah, it was great. It was really great.
I mean,
I worked, but then I went to dinner with my family, so it was good.
You spent it on the street getting assaulted, basically, which for you, I think, is a good time.
Yeah, I am strangely, I do enjoy a good protest, riling up some protesters. So I didn't mind it. I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, this definitely is your thing. So to explain this, you see you got return, right? You can see this.
Yeah.
So we could go back. We could play some audio because we got several clips. I just want to kind of run through here a little bit. This was Dallas, right?
Yes, this was Dallas City Hall.
City Hall. And they're basically kind of escorting you out of there. What was this woman saying to you?
Well, I mean, they were calling me all sorts of names. It was interesting because I was getting that I also was Hispanic, but then they were calling me European. So I don't think that they could fully agree on whether or not I was white passing. But originally there was a white boy who alerted everyone that I was a fascist. I don't know how, because I wasn't doing anything. I was literally standing there watching. I think it may have been my phone cover, which, if you can't see, is the Donald Trump fight iconic picture. So maybe that was what did it. But these people just all of a sudden, she's a fascist. And then they all just started mobbing me and trying to prevent me from walking down the public sidewalk to try to, of course, just get footage from the event in a public place. So it got really crazy and really amped up very quickly at that point.
Now, to be clear, you went out there. There were a couple of you guys out there, but you were the star of this show.
Yeah, I mean, well, the problem is, Chad, you know this, I don't know when to shut my mouth. So we were out there and they said, she's a fascist. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Who are you calling fascist? Why am I a fascist? Why am I a fascist? And so then I blew everyone's cover.
So then you went after them, right? And I love some of the epithets that you threw back. Like you called a couple of them fatties.
Well, look at them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't look like they've spent a lot of time in the fields. I can tell you that. Isn't that the claim? Now, I just put, they're protesting. I can see it on TV. They're protesting right now in L.A. This is multiple days now of them shutting down traffic in L.A. on the 101, I think. And they don't look like they've spent a lot of time out in the fields. Now, again, those are their words, not mine. They're the ones who are the crop pickers. They're the ones that you're not going to get your blueberries for your smoothie. You're not going to get your avocados. Chuck Schumer said you're not even going to get your Corona beer if we put tariffs on Mexico. So they look to me more like they have chosen the flour tortillas quite often. And America has been quite good to them. Did you sort of see a lot of first world problems?
Yeah. My initial thought was they eating real good in America. And, you know, I think maybe they started out selling tamales in the tamale truck, and then it turns out they just ate them all. So they were all gone. There were no more to sell at that point. It was really embarrassing to watch not just these people who clearly have a great life here in America, but just to watch their entitlement that they demand that they get to stay here, that they make all of these demands being here illegally, which, by the way, I'm not trying to lump everyone in there who was out there. I realize not all of them were illegal. Not all of them were even, you know, from Mexico or Hispanic, but there was a large majority of them who just admitted that they were in their signs and also with what they were saying. So there were a lot of them out there that just, I guess, feel entitled to tell you, the American taxpayer, how it's going to be and what you're going to allow and not allow in your country. It's just crazy to me.
So that was fascinating to me. My biggest takeaway from watching you out there with you had the bullhorn, the megaphone. You were out there. You were spouting some facts. Did anybody ever try to counter you with conversationally or just dialogue with any facts?
No. The only thing that they said when I talked about the atrocities that happen, you know, the trees that are marked, I don't know how graphic you want me to get into this, but the trees
the
that
rape
are marked,
trees, the rape trees.
Thank you. The rape trees that are marked along the way, all of the children and women that are trafficked along the way from from Mexico to the United States border and then into the interiors of the United States. And so their only comeback that they thought that they had was, but our president's a rapist. Well, first of all, it's not our president. It's my president. You belong back in your home country. But it's like the president is not, that didn't happen. In fact, even if you wanted to point to the civil suit, they very specifically said that they did not think that he was liable for rape. So, you know, obviously they tried to combat the truth, but they couldn't come up with anything except just conjecture and lies because that's all they have.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is it's about feelings, and I said to someone on X the other day that feelings. The reason we are a nation of laws and law and order and the rule of law exists is because feelings are a terrible way to try to build a country.
Yeah.
And that's what is happening here. Is we don't. I saw a clip. Maybe you saw it too, Sarah, where there was a woman who was being deported. In fact, I know you saw it because I think you commented on it. She had spent $25,000 to traffickers. CBS put this story out. Was that you? It might have been somebody else. CBS put a story out today about a woman who her family was being turned back at the border, and she said we had spent $25,000 with the traffickers to bring us here. And it's like, what do you want us to do here? That's on Joe Biden and his border czar. Yeah. They're the ones who made that an invitation for you to admit to paying $25,000 to human traffickers. Sad as that may be, but again, what do you want me to do about that?
Yeah, well, and it was also, that was kind of similar to a conversation that I had with someone who was there. She is there legally, but she said, well, now I get profiled because of the color of my skin. Now I'm going to be profiled. Now people question me. And I said, honey, you can blame Joe Biden for that, because if it wasn't for Joe Biden allowing millions of people into this country and criminals, then we wouldn't have a problem here. So if you want to place blame, you place blame where that belongs. And that is, of course, at the feet of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I, just for the record, I went to Los Cucos Mexican restaurant last night in the Woodlands, and I had fajitas a la Cucos. And the woman who brought me the food to the table didn't speak much English, no matter what I said to her. You know how I do? I said, quit this job, sit down here and have a drink with me. She's like, okay, okay. But I didn't profile her. I'll make fun of it after the fact, but I was very sweet, and I tipped her a lot of money.
Yeah.
I have a real quick
Chad
question.
Prather is contributing to the illegal immigration cause.
Steve, what do you got?
Okay, my question is, how does the average person from one of these impoverished, poor countries come up with 25 grand? I mean,
you don't want to know in a lot of cases.
I really do.
There's a lot of things
because I might be missing out on a hustle.
Well, unless you're ready to start selling your body, I don't. I don't
think Steve
advise.
would do that.
Steve might do it. I've seen him give it away for free. These people put up with a lot of stuff. They do, and 25,000 is pretty extreme. Go back up to that CBS clip. Let's pull it back up again, Royce. So 25,000, that's a lot. That's a lot from what I've heard. 21-year-old Margarita Zacarias broke down in tears after she was deported back to Guatemala from the U.S., expressing her devastation. She said that her parents had pulled together more than $25,000 in loans to pay her smuggler. I really need to get the other side to give my best to my parents. They have nothing. So she was coming here apparently to join her parents. So that explains that. Her parents were taken advantage of. So typically, most of the people that we've interviewed, or whether it's Larry Taunton or anybody else who's been down there, they're coming out of Colombia or they're coming out of Brazil. A lot of them, you're looking at, gathering up $4,000 or $5,000, and then the hustle becomes you give them $4,000 to $8,000. You get almost to the border, and they're like, you got to come up with more money, or you have to pay us with your body or something like that. Which again, as we alluded to earlier, the rape trees. So now, and then they're like, well, you know what? If you don't pay us, then we'll leave your child behind.
So it's kind of indentured servitude, kind of slavery.
You belong to them, and the cartels will go back and they will take it from your family or take your family's lives. So the fact that the administration prior to us has literally encouraged this type of behavior and empowered the cartels to do this in trafficking is an atrocity of humanity. It's an atrocity. And to say, okay, we're just not going to put a stop to this. So Tom Homan has already said that the border encounters are now down 93%, which is huge. So we're literally, this girl, she might want to get to her parents, but there's a good chance people like her, lives are going to be saved because of this new policy. Jocelyn Nungare and Laken Riley are dead, and there's a list of others that we could do. They're dead today because of the federal policy of the Biden administration. because the blood's on on their hands. So you know what? You can hate me. You can hate Sarah for being out in the street and confronting you for this stuff. You can protest me, but at the end of the day, the most compassionate thing that we can do is shut the border down and say you can't come here. I know you got a bad situation at home. I know you're under a corrupt government. Throughout human history, people have been in corrupt governments. They've had to live in terrible conditions. But you can't just hodgepodge, open up the borders and be like, come on across, we're going to take care of you. Basic economics, Milton Friedman, you can either have an open border or you can have a welfare state, but you can't have both. The country collapses on that, and they've tried to have both for too long. And I'm sorry. I mean, you could cry all the crocodile tears you want to cry. My heart truly breaks for the human condition. If it didn't, I wouldn't spend all the time that I have around the world working with people. It breaks for the human condition. But you can't rule on emotions. You can't. And that's the sad part of it. So, Sarah, when you were out there, first of all, you have bigger cojones than most men. You really do. From the stuff that you exposed with the drag queens for the longest period of time, you were having to go in disguise. You were having, because they spot you. So I'm wondering if that whitey that saw you out there recognized you, because you tend to be, for an unattractive woman, you tend to be recognizable. Like every now and then, people will be like, "Oh yeah, that's old Sarah. Yeah, she's doing rough." Play the clip. I want to see the clip, Royce, where they're flying the flag in her face, which is basically, listen to Sarah. Turn the volume up on that right there. Look at that face, Sarah. Look at you, girl. Go home.
Like a real big hoe.
Like a real big hoe? You feel like a big man talking like that? You feel like a big man, fatty? Go back home! Go back home! How about the rape trees? Let's talk about the rape trees on the way from Mexico to America.
Walking away.
Let's talk about the children who are raped repeatedly by coyotes and cartels and criminals. You're quiet now. Oh, you walk away? Oh, you don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about the women and the children that are being killed. If you are here illegally, enjoy your stay. You're getting deported soon. This is not stolen land. It was conquered. Sorry, your people were too weak. It's a public place. If you do that, that's assault.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Bitch, you got me fucked
Not
up.
nice.
Play the
flag one.
Yeah, the Tony Ortiz. Play the Tony Ortiz. This one right here. I mean, this is in essence assault. But you were kind of asking for it, weren't you?
No.
You were kind of asking. Like, there's a couple of clips in here where, like, if somebody did that to me, we'd be throwing hands.
I mean, listen, I did have some friends who were, like I said, I met up with them there. They're some of the ones who were taking this footage. So I did have some friends that I felt were, they were big young dudes. So I was like, it'll be fine if anything pops off. But there were a couple people
like that right there.
This one. And by the way, she did tell me before she did it, I'm going to hit you with my flag. I'm going to hit you with my flag. I'm going to hit you with my flag. And I was like, are you kidding right now? And then so there she did. But, it's just these people's propensity to just resort straight to violence is so crazy to me.
So I've been in a few different protest deals, and I know you've been in a lot of them, where you actually try to engage these people, and there's no engagement. That's the problem. Like, I would think that if you're trying to protest something, you would have a message.
Right.
Don't just be seen, be heard, but be heard with something logical. Say something beyond what you wrote on a poster that day.
Right.
How many in this protest were actually illegal immigrants?
Good question.
I mean,
I didn't ask to see their papers, so I couldn't tell you an exact statistic. But
were they yelling at you in pretty good English, or were they?
A lot of them were. A lot of them were not. A lot of them were not. And
maybe like 50%?
I
More or less?
I would say that's probably accurate.
Because if someone was here illegally, they're not going to. I don't think they'd want to go out there and put themselves in the public. They kind of hide in the shadows.
But that's where the entitlement and the arrogance comes in. Because that's what I thought too. And I'm like, who are you to come out to this property that we pay for as American taxpayers? Who are you to come out to our property and protest in front of our faces and tell us that you demand to be able to stay or you demand certain rights? Like, who the heck do you think you are? And so that was just the audacity of them doing that in broad daylight. Just goes to show you how used to it they are, how used to just, taking that they are from all of these American resources, and they get to brag about it, and there's no negative ramifications. Like that's just their life. That's how used to it they are.
And I'm not for stop and ID necessarily, but in that case, they're basically claiming that they're not from here.
Yes.
Then I think it's okay.
Yes.
Don't worry about the text I sent you, Royce. I was trying to send you a clip that Striker Jay sent me yesterday. Unfortunately, we can't. It's a Facebook clip and it's hard to pull. Copied the wrong thing. Got to be careful with that. And that was. So what was in your opinion? What was the ratio of his Latino to white?
Oh, it was overwhelmingly. I'll just say, like Latino, brown-skinned, clearly, ancestry somewhere points to Mexico or somewhere indigenous. I would say probably like 80-20. I mean, there were a couple like white crazy libs, specifically the ones who wore the dumb like crossing guard outfit on with the neon vest so that everyone could know that they were security help. I don't really know what the heck they thought that they were doing, but they were all there trying to, because I guess the insinuation is that all of these Mexicans need white people to help them. They can't pull it off themselves. They need these white people to protect them. And so that guy was not, but you see the one next to him, the fat white lib, she definitely was,
Blonde hair.
was running into me repeatedly.
You told her to get her fat arm
on
off. You said, quit putting your fat on me.
Yes, because that's what they do. They use their fat to box me out. And I'm like, move your arm. I know what you're doing.
You had a white woman pushing a brown woman around.
Exactly.
Which also happened to you at the Robert Francis O'Rourke campaign rally where you got kicked out of there and you got your phone grabbed and all that stuff. You basically got assaulted at that as well.
Right. Exactly.
That turned into a lawsuit, didn't it?
It did. And I'm happy to say we settled the lawsuit, and that's all that I can say about that.
I would not be married to you for real. I'm so thankful for Steven. I'm so thankful for your husband that you guys are y'all work because Steven's he just puts his head down and shakes it a couple of times and just moves forward. He's
so patient.
Dude, the patience of Job, bro. I'm just telling you, the patience of Job. He's a saint. All right, I got some other stuff I want to get into. Before I do, I want to tell you guys about Patriot Protect. There's a shocking amount of personal info about you and your family that's publicly available online. I don't know if you're anything like me. I get sick of the spam calls. I get sick of the emails that keep coming in that even though you unsubscribe, they're going to keep on. They just keep showing up. And the more stuff you do online, the more your public information is going to get put out there because they're tracking you. And so like the scam calls, they're not random, man. These are targeted attacks that are using that information in the exposed info to profile and take advantage of you. So these scammers are going to take your name, your number, and the details to break through your defenses. And you can change your name, you can change your phone number, you can change your address. It doesn't stop them. You need to stop it at the source, and that's where Patriot Protect comes in. Patriot Protect stops threats at the source by erasing your personal data from the internet. That is data that you didn't even know that you agreed to. And they cut off access to the scammers, the crypto criminals, the robocalls, the debt collectors. You're going to be secure, private, and in control. You need to do it. Patriot Protect search and destroy protocol scans and removes personal information from over 100 data broker sites. The sites scammers and criminals are relying on. Even Party Foul Steve told me the other day, he said, I found some of your information on the internet. I hate that. 24/7 protection for about $5 a month. Everybody listening to me needs to have Patriot Protect. This is different from other stuff that we've talked about in the past. Patriot Protect, they're going to get these scammers out of your life. Use promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad, and you'll get 15% off the yearly subscription. Go to patriot-protect.com/Chad. Patriot-protect.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad and save. All right, Sarah. What do you think about this whole Elon Musk, he's unelected. All this rhetoric out there. The Harry Sissons, just whiny crowd titty baby nonstop about Elon Musk, he's unelected. And I love it. The Doge stuff, I personally love it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, isn't it interesting how they have a real problem with these unelected bureaucrats when it's someone who's not doing their bidding, but when it's someone who does their bidding, it's totally fine. It's completely fine that we had the deep state basically taking over and hijacking Donald Trump's first term, leaking, op-eds in the Washington Post about how he wasn't fit and all the stuff that they did to try to run the show, all of the directives that they didn't take because they thought they knew better. I would say that was an unelected bureaucrat taking control. Now that we have someone actually helping literally every single American taxpayer here, right? I mean, it benefits them too. It benefits the Harry Sissons of the world to not pay more in taxes than we need to get rid of the government waste and inefficiency and any money laundering schemes that the government has going on. And now all of a sudden they're very, very concerned with unelected people, even though we've had government contracts with contractors for ever.
So let me give you guys a couple of things. So we all know how they misused funds such as the COVID funds. So Broward County, Florida spent $140 million in COVID-19 relief funds to construct a luxury hotel with 30,000 square feet of pool decks, a rooftop bar, and 11,000 square foot spa and fitness center. They used COVID money, COVID relief money to do that. They bought luxury cars, $31.5 million of it used for 4 individuals to buy luxury cars such as Porsches, Ferraris, and Lamborghinis. You remember the story about the camouflage uniforms that didn't blend in. There's 77,000 empty, unused federal buildings, according to the Office of Management and Budget. That's $1.7 billion a year to maintain 77,000 empty buildings. They boosted Tunisian travel during COVID-19. Everybody wants to go to Tunisia, right? They literally spent $50 million on a Visit Tunisia initiative. They were injecting 6-month-old beagle puppies with cocaine, $2.3 million. They've spent $3 million to build a Gandhi museum in Houston. Listen to this, Sarah. They spent $118,971. They sent a grant to Georgia Tech students to see if a real-life Thanos could actually snap his fingers while wearing the Infinity Gauntlet.
Stop.
They discovered that he couldn't do it.
Wow, I'm shocked to hear that.
Maggie Moo 32's got the Infinity Gauntlet with all the stones, and she can't make it snap either. Megan, you could have gotten $120,000 from the government. This is absolutely insane, this kind of stuff. When you start reading, I don't know if you guys ever look at the Festivus report that Rand Paul puts out every
Makes you
year.
sick.
When you read the numbers that are on there, I mean, real money, $217 million that gave federal employees duplicate Medicare customer service access. Duplicate. $31 million to study the linkage between e-cigarettes and heart attacks. They spent $1.3 million to see if people will actually eat ground up bugs. Listen to this. They spent $36.8 million to study why stress makes your hair turn gray.
Oh my gosh.
This is the kind of stuff. And the Sissons of the world and the Chuck Schumers of the world, all of these guys are, and the Krasensteins are going to say, unelected. We've been living with 3.5 million unelected bureaucrats running and ruining our lives for years.
Yep.
I didn't vote for the CIA or the FBI or the DEA or the ATF or the IRS or the NEA. I didn't vote for any of those people. I didn't vote for Homeland Security. I didn't vote for the TSA. I didn't vote for any of those. I didn't vote for the Patriot Act. I didn't vote for Biscuit cheating on me in Steve's lap.
Oh, hi, Biscuit. I would also say, I agree with obviously you didn't directly vote for any of those positions, but what you did do was vote for the guy who literally stood on a stage and said, I'm going to appoint this man right here to lead the Department of Government efficiency so we can root out all of the inefficiencies because you guys are taxed to death and you're sick of it. We did vote for that guy. So in a sense, I did vote for that. I did vote for the guy who had RFK come out and say, support him because he's going to support me in making America healthy again. I did vote for all of that. We did know that this was coming. So it's so funny, like they act like, oh no, Donald Trump got elected and then he started just divvying up his power to all of these random people as if it wasn't something that we knew. He told us directly, and that's exactly what we voted for.
Hey, and
10 years ago, probably about 10 years ago, there were some real left-leaning friends of mine that told me Elon Musk is going to change the world. Just couldn't talk enough about how great he was. They hate him now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly right. You were okay. And so I'm looking at, talking about transparency. So this is just released. CBS is now releasing the Harris transcript to the FCC. You remember when CBS did that interview with Kamala Harris, and then they put the edited interview out for 60 Minutes, and we were like, what was the real? They admitted that they edited it. Now they're putting that thing out there. We got to get to the bottom of a lot of stuff.
Well, they added back in the 45 minutes of laughing that they had taken out.
The bouncing up and down. Let's throw a couple of let's throw a couple of the clips up there from the people who are opposed to this kind of USAID. This is the stuff, and we talked about it this morning on Dear America, all the stuff that Carolyn Levitt read off. And there were people who were like, oh, really? He uncovered $1.5 million worth of expenditures, whatever. I mean, you had $2.5 million to promote DEI in Serbia, $70,000 for DEI music in Ireland, a musical, $47,000 for transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for trans comic book in Peru. This is stupid. And people are like, oh, really? You uncovered $2.6 million worth of... No, that just represents the kind of crap that's out there. I mean, he's already said, Elon Musk has said that he can reduce the deficit by $1 trillion just by cutting this stuff, this is insane. That anybody would fight against this.
Was the $50 million in condoms, was that a part of the USAID?
Well, I don't think it was, but I do know this. We do pay for, and whether there was actually $50 million for condoms in Gaza, I don't know. Because, again, there's a lot of speculation on that. But I do know that for years we've been spending tens of millions of dollars to help for prophylactics in other countries. Why? Why are we doing this?
They're laundering money, and they just put a label on it for whatever they think they can get away with, and then they do it.
Anybody that's ever done a budget, you ask for more. You always ask for more, and if you leave these items out, it's guaranteed you're not going to get it. But pull a couple of these tweets up there, that the ones I sent you. So here's Chucky Schumer. Senator Schumer says that he's afraid if Doge can scrutinize the USAID, they'll do similar to other government agencies and programs. Good.
Great.
Yes, please.
Awesome. Don't threaten me with a good time. That sounds amazing.
I mean, and he's really sweating it because Chucky is constantly saying something about this USA deal. I sent you another one, I think, another Chuck Schumer tweet. If you got that, Royce, pop it up there. He says an unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government. Doge is not a real government agency. Doge has no authority to make spending decisions. Doge has no authority to shut programs down or to ignore federal law. Doge's conduct cannot be allowed to stand. Sarah.
I mean, these people who have neglected and abdicated their responsibility to balance the budget for decades now, it's laughable that all of a sudden he wants to talk about what authority Doge has to make spending decisions, as if they haven't been spending like drunken sailors and having no regard for the amount of money. This is always going to happen, though, right? Like, it's not your money that you're spending. It's our money. So when you have access to unlimited, they think it's unlimited, clearly it's not, to unlimited amounts of someone else's money, of course you're going to need accountability. Of course you're going to need some sort of an independent agency to come in and right the ship, because you're always going to have corruption. That's a crap way of doing things, which is why I always like to remind people that taxation is theft.
It is theft. Hey, here's the thing, and here's what I said to Party Foul Steve yesterday. I said, if I run a household, right? Sarah, you got kids.
Yep.
Steve's got kids. I got kids. if you run a household, you never go to the kids and say, "Okay, kids, you guys have to contribute to the household. Like you got to pay your money. I'm gonna charge you a tax."
I might have shook down a few piggy banks, when the kids were little.
Yeah, but you hang out with the poors. But I'm just saying that you don't look. The average dad doesn't look at his kids and go, "You owe me taxes," because it's up to the dad to have a GDP. The dad has a job. The dad has an exportable, profitable skill set or a job. He does something to provide for his family. We have a GDP here in this country. We got more oil under our feet than any other place in the world. We've got resources. I mean, I can list off all the different crops that we can export. We can make American steel and iron and coal great again. We have a lot of resources. We have the ability, as Trump is doing, to get the rare earth minerals in payback for what we've spent to Ukraine. There's a lot of things that we do to be profitable. But what we're doing, all of this crap spending proves the slush funds, the money laundering, the kickbacks, every bit of it. What it proves is dad has been irresponsible with the household.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wants the kids to pay for it all.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, I mean, I know Royce, you and Graham went down to North Carolina, I believe, after everything happened to them. And so it's when you talk about the contrast of these people are spending millions, billions of dollars sending it to not just for foreign aid for something good, but for all the stuff that you read there, drag shows and all this other pet projects that do no good for the world. And yet, because when Americans are in times of need, they're nowhere to be found. They've run out of money. It's all dried up. And so it's like, I would feel better about me being taxed to death if I knew that people, victims of Hurricane Helene, at least when something bad happened, I could know that my tax money was going to help my fellow American. But that's not even happening. They can't even say that is happening. And that is just such a disgusting, grave injustice to every single American should be just outraged by this.
I mean, the day after the California fires, didn't he send $500 million to Ukraine? Like the day after that was announced, he was like, "All right, that's it. There's fires. Yeah. Let's send money to Ukraine. $500 million. You know what that would have done to those California fires?"
Right.
Now, it's not shocking he didn't help out in North Carolina, but California, that shocks me that they didn't send the whole military over there to take that sucker down. But $500 million the next day to Ukraine. It's pathetic.
I mean, Joe Biden's family has been doing dirty business dealings with Ukraine for a very long time now. So I guess he thought, what do I care? I'm on my way out the door. Who cares if Californians like me anymore? I'll just make sure that I cover my dues over in Ukraine so they never talk about all of the corrupt business dealings I was a part of.
Yeah. And I saw somebody in the chat that said the government doesn't own the Federal Reserve. No, the Federal Reserve isn't owned by anybody. It's the government's bank. It's the government's banking system. I don't own Wells Fargo either, but I have access to my accounts, and I get to determine what's going to be done with the money. I might, read The Creature from Jekyll Island. It's an eye-opening deal about the creation of the Fed. It's scary. I mean, that should have never been in place. I mean, this is the kind of thing which they've done so many unconstitutional things. You need to read how Alexander Hamilton screwed up the United States. I think that's the name of it. My friend Brian, God dang, I'm going to mess up all the names. But you need to read that, How Alexander Hamilton Screwed Up the United States. I think that's actually the title of it. And how unconstitutional our banking system was, how unconstitutional the way we've handled money is. It's insane. So, put up, you had the Scott Adams tweet. Scott Adams, of course, is the Dilbert creator, the Dilbert cartoon. Here's what he said. He said, given what we've learned so far, I'm going to read it even though you don't have it up there yet.
I got it.
You got it? So given what we've learned so far about U.S. aid, so far, anyone in Congress who supports keeping it intact is unambiguously corrupt. Yeah. He says, we rarely have this type of clarity. Democrats control U.S. aid and benefit from its funding. Their base won't mind watching their leaders marinate in that corruption. But if a Republican joins Democrats in voting to keep U.S. aid alive, it's probably a one-way trip to jail or retirement. What he's saying is, if you're supporting that, there's corruption somewhere in your life. Yep. Now, Trump came out and made a statement a while back where he said U.S. aid initially in its idea form is a good idea, but I'll just put it this way: the same people that want Doge dismantled wanted 87,000 new armed IRS agents to come and audit the hell out of you, and come after every business, everything you do. I mean, I'm constantly listen. I own numerous businesses. Sarah does too. I'm constantly getting inundated with mail about some kind of franchise tax or some kind of trademark thing or this, that. And it's like, oh my God, people are wearing me out with this stuff. So, the Texas comptroller's got to send you another letter about, you owe us 87 cents or something insane. I mean, it just, after a while, it's like, dude, we're being done to death here.
Yeah. I fully believe that if we got rid of the payroll tax where people didn't really see their money yet, it didn't hit their account yet, where they're deducting it. I'm sorry, the payroll deduction, where they wouldn't see it, right? And then if they turn to everyone's a 1099 now, and everyone actually has to write a physical check to the IRS every quarter, as you do, Chad, as I have to do. I fully believe that if we got rid of that deduction system, that we would have revolting in the streets because people would actually finally realize how much money they're paying in taxes.
They don't get paid what they're
for.
Yeah, they're not making that money. It's like the kid that gets the job for the first time and they see all the taxes that have come out of it and they're like, oh, what?
Who is FICA?
Yeah, put up I never can say Shank Wigger, whatever his last name is. I can't even say Shank's first name with Young Turks.
Be careful with the way you said that last name.
Wigger. Shank Wigar. Dave Rubin, every time I see Dave Rubin, I'm like, how do you say this guy's name? And he tells me, and I still can't pronounce it. But he says, I've been warning the left for a long time to brace for impact because we lost touch with populism and the electoral losses were on the way. Now I'm going to warn the right wing to brace for impact because the country is about to turn on Elon Musk. He says, going fast and breaking things might work in Silicon Valley, but it doesn't work with the U.S. government. When things get broken in the government, it puts people's lives in danger. He's going too fast and breaking too many things. The majority of the country is much more moderate than either side wants to admit. There's about to be a backlash. Saving me money, that seems that doesn't seem like an extreme position.
Yeah, no. Again, when Americans are, you have homeless veterans who are not being taken care of. You have hurricane victims who have nothing, who are not being taken care of. And you guys want to complain about trying to make sure that we have efficiency in our spending. No, I don't think Americans are going to be sad about that at all. There's no American I know who would be like, oh no, you're going to charge me less in taxes because you're actually going to root out efficiency. Oh no, can I just write you more just for funsies, please? Like nobody's going to be upset about this.
Well, it's going to get people's lives in danger. And Scrappy said
they already are.
Scrappy said it's Chunk Yogurt. That's how you say his name, Chunk Yogurt. So I'm going to go with that. I'm just trying to figure out, listen, we spent $6 million to boost Egyptian tourism. We've spent $659 billion in interest on the national debt last year. We've paid $38 million to dead people through COVID relief. We paid $9,000 for a lobster tank. Yeah, that was purchased by the DOD because the Department of Defense needs that. We wrote 2 graphic novels that were combating misinformation. $200 million to famous music artists from the Small Business Administration. So I don't feel like my life's in danger here. Like I don't feel like I've got a problem with anything we're discussing here. Throw up the Representative Morgan McGarvey. That's a whole lot of syllables. Here's what Morgan McGarvey said. Of course, he's Kentucky. He said, my constituents are scared. An unelected billionaire, really? You think they're calling him on the phone saying, I'm so scared. An unelected billionaire has no business handling our sensitive government data and making decisions about our Social Security benefits. House Democrats are doing everything we can to prevent this. House Republicans need to step up too. Nobody's touching Social Security.
No.
You guys have ruined that all by yourselves.
Yeah, but Donald Trump made that abundantly clear how many times on the campaign trail, and they keep trying to like spin it, and they're just completely making it up.
Well,
he's been really clear.
Well, Morgan McGarvey's constituents should be afraid because he's lying to them. Yep. Like that's the biggest reason right there is, you're lying, bro. Have you ever looked at the art? Somebody sent me a funny video meme of the like statues, the art they've put in Detroit or in Michigan, and they've got like the golden butthole, and then they've got the red spikes, and then they've got the big fist and all that. And it's like, like literally, they built, like the government paid to put all of this quote art up there. Like remember when they put the Martin Luther King Jr. thing that looked like two chicken necks hugging each other? But these people are lying to you, man. They're lying. And so when you have people who've come into this country by the tens of millions illegally, they don't want to assimilate. They're still waving their flags from the country they came from that they don't want to go home to. And then you have a federal government inside the Beltway of Washington, D.C., who's spending, to use your term that I love, Sarah, like drunken sailors. This is a miracle. That right there. And then we had 4 years of a comatose, window-licking, basement-dwelling puppet and a cackling hyena that never did anything but smoke dope and get drunk. The resiliency of Americans, that should tell you how tough we are as a country, how tough the patriots are that have some common sense and believe in our values and foundational, beliefs. That right there ought to tell you how resilient this country is, because most places would have gone the way of Venezuela. They would have just imploded. They'd have crashed in on themselves.
Yeah,
so
you're right. You're right.
There's no reason we should. We make so much money. We make so much money. The business of America makes so much money. There's literally no reason why we should be paying any taxes.
Yep.
We have a GDP. We have the ability to make an income as a nation and pay for what we need. I don't understand. And Striker J says it was cocaine, Chad, not dope. I think she was on all of it. I think she was on every bit of it. I've seen evidence of. I definitely saw the cocaine.
I thought dope covered all of them.
Well, it can. It can. Striker J, he's innocent. He don't know about things like that.
Okay.
Those are big people issues. Sarah Gonzalez, what's going on with you, girl? You doing okay? I mean, you just turned middle aged and.
Oh my gosh. You know what, Royce and Steve, it's been really fun, but this will be my last time appearing on the Chad Prather show. I just get
It's all
beat
right.
up over here.
He'll still keep talking about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we might need you if Chad has to take a day off or something. You come be the host.
Hey,
Yeah,
Sarah.
well, he might poop his pants again. So I mean,
It could happen.
You know what? The older I get, the more I might. But I do want to leave everybody with a little touch of good news before we wind things down, and that is Marjorie Taylor Greene has decided to propose a bill to actually make English America's national language.
let's go.
Good deal. It should be the official language.
Official language of the United States. You wouldn't think this would be that radical, but here we are. We don't have an official language, but I think that the predominant language, obviously being English, should be the official language.
You don't have a functioning society if you can't all agree on which language we all are speaking to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
This is common sense. This is so reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise.
And by the way, we shouldn't be spending the money that we're spending making sure that government documents are both English and Spanish.
That's a lot of money. I don't want to. I don't want to have to dial Ocho to get them to.
Right. Right. I don't want to press one.
I don't want to press
speak
Ocho.
English. Just keep speaking.
Ocho. I don't want to press Ocho. And the reason they do that is because they don't want you to accidentally hit 2. They tell you to hit 8 because the 8 is separated from the 1. So they don't want you to go to push the 1 to get English, and then you accidentally push the 2, and now you have it de Española, but they want you to push the Ocho.
They want to make sure you don't fat finger it.
Oh.
Fat finger it.
Whoa. Ooh.
I was talking about the phone.
So many things. Oh, okay.
Sarah likes calling people fat. It's hilarious.
Fat shamer.
Listen, I would like to state for the record, I lost 100 pounds many, many, many years ago. I myself was very fat. And so
Were you
I
really?
think that fat,
So
yes.
you're trans skinny.
Yeah,
skinny,
so
is that
I think
right?
that fat shaming works.
Trans
I think
fat.
that everyone should be encouraged.
I didn't know.
to
Actually,
not
you
be
know what?
unhealthy.
If you really used to be fat, then I think that's totally okay. That's
Okay,
totally
good.
okay for you to fat shame, right?
Yeah,
But if you've
yeah.
never been fat, like me, I can't fat shame.
Yes, you can.
can't.
You can. I don't know
Shame
about
anybody. There's lots of reasons.
Here's my deal on all of the fat shaming thing. It's not shaming. What's shameful is you again to tell someone the truth. Now to sit there and say, "Oh, fatty, 2x4," that's just bullying. I get it. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
That's not anything. But to tell somebody, "Hey, what's his name? Oh my gosh, the comedian. He's got a great bit right now where he's like, you know, if your doctor gets politically correct, he says, you know what, you're gonna have to drop some of the fabulousness because you've gotten to that point now of really being glamorous, you know, and all, you know, all of these, you really are starting to vibe a little too much, and it's causing your blood sugar to go through the roof because they use all these terms to talk about, oh, you slay, girl. That's just another way of saying you're fat, but you're cute.
Yeah. Hey, even Lizzo decided body positivity was not the way to go if she wanted to live.
Well, it's like Dank DeMoss, who's going to sue the Lyft driver because he wouldn't let her in the car because he's afraid of his, you know, axle breaking.
Suspension. Yeah.
The suspension and the yeah. So you got to be nervous.
Be afraid you couldn't get her out.
I got to go to the doctor. I got to go right now. They got to cut me, Sarah. They're going to cut me.
Why?
Realistically, I don't think she could have fit through the door. I just don't see how a woman that size fits through the door.
No.
Any
You have to go
door,
look
as a matter of
back
fact.
through her pictures. She shows where she gets in different vehicles. They have pictures of her getting in and out of other vehicles.
Is it a tight fit?
It's
like
a
a
very tight
though.
fit.
Yeah.
Bradley
she should be
tank.
able to
Use
get
the
through
steering
those doors.
wheel.
And Bradley
Ugh.
tank, you know, a toy hauler is a dump truck.
She could probably just roll over and make her way to the destination that she's trying to get to. If she just starts rolling, she'll get there one way or another.
Here comes big
Push her down the
government.
freeway, she'll make it.
No, it's just dank.
Dank. That girl's dank.
Sarah, tell us about everything you got going on. Talk about your show and where people can find it.
Ooh, I've got too much going on. So
Yeah.
we've got Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered on Blaze TV Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. But we also do it on YouTube. So make sure to check out my YouTube channel. It's at Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered over on YouTube. And then, of course, I'm working with Texas Family Project as the vice president here in the state of Texas of the Family Project. And we are working this legislative session to strengthen families, but also just protect children from all of the leftist ideology that's just completely inundating them, even here in this state. So you can check us out there as well, TexasFamilyProject.com. Sign up so you can get involved or, you know, give us a donation if you're so inclined so we can help fight off the leftist, you know, all of the indoctrination.
You do a great thing in the state of Texas. You do a great thing across the country, but be careful out there getting assaulted by Mexican flags. Okay.
I will. Yeah. And fat.
You got that eagle pulling that rattlesnake out of that prickly pear bush, surrounded in that red, white, and green glory.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least that lady warned you, though, before she started smacking you with the flag. You know, at least she warned you.
Yeah, it's true. She did give me full disclosure that she was about to assault me with her flag.
There you go. Guys, I want to remind you to text Chad to 989898 for Birch Gold, and then go over to patriot-protect.com and sign up with them /Chad on there, and use promo code Chad to save on an annual subscription. Party Foul Steve, I like how he just slouches as the show goes on.
Well, I was trying to. Somebody was asking about my shirt and where could
Praise
they get
the
it?
Lord and pass the ammunition. You get it at prathertees.com, or you can go to chadgear.com, and they all go to the same place. Or you just go to watchchad.com and then go to the shop on the menu. It's a lot of places.
I'm just going to go to the warehouse and start pulling shirts off the rack again.
Yeah, but that is one of mine. Praise the Lord, pass the ammunition. But check it out. Sarah, I love you so much.
I love you too. It's been fun, guys. Let's do it again soon.
I thought we weren't doing that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Oh, my God. Here we go.
So the Senate committee voted 14-13 to advance RFK Jr. Wow. It's crazy, dude. This country's so divided. There's no way we're coming back together. No way. The only thing that can win us over is some limited government and a whole lot of success.
I think so. I think success.
People to get their eyes opened up, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sarah, we love you. Party Foul Steve, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Royce,
See you guys tomorrow.
see you tomorrow. We
I
will
don't know what
catch
else
you.
to say.
We will catch you guys tomorrow. He's cute, isn't he? He's cute.
Oh, follow me on Instagram at PartyFoulSteve. I'm trying to build that up over like 5,000 or something. So
Yeah, you can follow me at Royce Chamberlain on
Hey,
Twitter.
do you follow me on Instagram, Royce?
I don't know, actually. I think I do.
Yeah.
I can look. I'll check. I will.
Yeah, at Royce Chamberlain on X, and of course at Sarah Gonzalez. There's no H in there. And Sarah Gonzalez TX. Okay, guys. I love you guys. God bless you. And we will see you tomorrow morning for the Dear America program. We will be right back with the same cast of characters, maybe one or two minus. I don't know who's going to be there, but let's pretend like it's the same cast of characters. Jump in there. Make sure before you get out of here, hit like on this episode. Make sure you're subscribed to the channels and you are sharing this. Tell your friends and family about it. And if you get bored this afternoon, hit play and walk away on the podcast, wherever audio is, on Apple, Spotify, whatever. Let's drive that thing up the ranks. Sarah keeps kicking her tail. She's ranked, I think, between 40 and 45. I got down to 66 yesterday. Graham Allen dropped, I don't know, 70-something. But we love those rankings. So hit the play, walk away, leave us a rating and review. We love you. God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.